I agree, and I think it's very interesting, Simon, I'd make this point that the European Convention on Human Rights, it also contains provisions which clearly state that public authorities, if necessary in a democratic society, they can interfere in these individual rights if it's felt to be in the interest of national security, public safety, and the prevention of disorder and crime. And I do feel there's been a degree of judicial activism which has tended to focus on provisions which ultimately represent the interests of foreign national offenders who have broken the law in the UK, but doesn't really focus on those provisions which clearly show that public authorities have a right to interfere in the exercising of those rights in the interests of public security.
The criticism from some lawyers, even some MPs, is that sort of divorcing us from the European Human Rights Act could sort of, quote, take the guts out of the act. Do you think those criticisms are fair?
Well, I think that the main point that I'd make is that our human rights arrangements, they're in need of modernisation. They need to be addressed in terms of those imbalances where I feel that the rights of those who do break the law tend to be prioritised. And the reality of the matter is that in an era which is incredibly volatile and unpredictable in terms of the security threat, that needs to be reflected in how our human rights regime works in the UK.
This is all sort of post-Brexit, obviously. We're trying to feel our way into essentially what's right and what's wrong, and picking and cherry-picking the best bits, which frankly, why shouldn't we?
Absolutely. I think that in terms of us being a post-Brexit self-governing nation state, you should have the right to decide who remains in the UK and who doesn't remain in the UK, depending on their ability and history of respecting the rule of law. And I think I really make this point that in recent times there has been almost a wave of judicial activism where the rights of those who've been clearly incapable of respecting the rule of law, but not only that, they're being convicted of terror-related offences, the rights of those individuals have been prioritised over the public safety of the majority of law-abiding people in the UK, and that is an unacceptable state of affairs which needs to be addressed.